Yep. So that was that one. Let's talk through some of these others. I'm just going to gloss over this. They talked about a new service that is attempting to address AI hallucinations, and what
Hmm.
I thought was interesting about it is just that they are actually addressing it. They're not alone. There's other features. Microsoft has what they call correction. Google has, I forget what theirs is called, but they have a tool that allows it. But I think what is interesting, and we'll talk more about Bedrock here in a minute. What I think is interesting is these AWS is introducing what they're calling automated reasoning checks, and it's being baked into the Bedrock suite. And I think this is important because where I think Amazon is placing a huge bet is on their ability to enable enterprise builders. And I think that this is targeted broadly, but I think specifically for the enterprise, I've been talking to a bunch of CIOs recently, and Bedrock has come up repeatedly. And so
Hmm.
as CIOs and enterprises are looking at how they sort of divide the spectrum and say, what are they building? What are they buying? Even when they're building, they are returning to platforms like Bedrock. And in order to make that work, they need ways to prevent hallucinations. And so it made a lot of sense for them to bake this in. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting piece of it.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm concerned about anything that talks about being able to tackle AI hallucinations or reduce hallucinations because I feel like a lot of what makes uh, AI hallucinatory in nature is an individual person's perspective. And that is very hard to manage from a programmatic perspective or a developer perspective. And that's where Amazon has really shined. Amazon is really great at creating these individual technologies that can be brought together by the developer as foundational technologies, as part of a platform or as part of infrastructure. But hallucination by its own nature, by definition, is experienced by an individual to based on an individual's perspective and their goals. And what one person might consider a hallucination, another person might consider important from a marketing portfolio perspective.
Well, yeah. So I guess we have to focus on, and so let's clarify how they're attempting to do this, right? So, and this is actually, I think it's a weakness, is that there's a couple of different approaches to solving for hallucinations. Sometimes they're doing multiple model checks and a few other kind of approaches. What AWS is doing with automated reasoning is that they are having a customer supply cross-referenceable data, which it then validates again. So effectively defining the authoritative source of truth. So this is about like fact checking kind of stuff. My concern is that part of the challenge that we're trying to use AI, Gen AI to solve is to avoid the complexity when we don't actually know. We don't know what the authoritative data source is. And that's
Right.
part of the problem. If we do, we just give someone a database. And so, that'll be the question is that does this create overhead? Does it actually solve the problem? But that is what they're trying to do with it. And I think to me, the big here wasn't that this is breakthrough technology or that it's all that amazing. To me, that what is interesting is it is part of an entire quiver of arrows that I think AWS is trying to give to the enterprise to basically build in and bake these solutions for themselves.